thank you so much for sitting down with me.
It's great to sit down just at any time in life. It's just really good to sit down. And I have to say, I feel very flannelist right now. I think actually if I was wearing a flannel right now, it would be a little too much, but your setup is phenomenal.
Oh, well,
Love it
thank you. How did you exactly get started with horror? What was kind of your introduction, and kind of how you started out?
Well, I'm gonna blame my mom solely for that. She showed me so many things that I should not have seen, and just she found so many cool movies that happened to be R-rated that she said, you'd enjoy this movie, watch this movie. But she always had me cover my eyes at certain parts. So she'd watch it, she'd know where to like cover the eyes and everything like that. And I, trusted her for so long. One of the nice things of having divorced parents was that my dad would let me watch things that probably I wouldn't have watched if my parents were together. It was lovely in that respect. I remember he rented me Little Shop of Horrors, and that one freaked me out so much that I had to stop it.
Was it the musical one or the...
It was the musical. It was
Okay.
the musical. I was not scared by the inanimate plant that just kind of went like this from the black and white Roger Corman. No, it was the fully moving one when it like grabs a chair and pulls like Seymour to him and starts singing in his mouth, that I'm like, he's gonna eat him. He's gonna eat him. I can't watch this. I can't watch Rick Moranis die.
Well, you only had to see it in the director's cut, so you were safe for a couple years.
I watched that fucking director's cut, which is amazing. The kaiju nature of everything like that, but I am very glad he did not kill them, because that cut, I watched it and I was depressed after watching it.
Well, that's the whole reason they changed it, because the studio was like, this is too sad for audiences. And I'm sure if little Zoran had saw the Audrey 2s taking over the planet, I'm sure that probably wouldn't have
I mean,
ended
the
well for him.
Audrey 2s is cool. It's literally just like the getting sucked into the plan and just watching Audrey and Seymour get killed.
Besides, obviously, you've mentioned like Little Shop, Aliens. Was there any one specific movie that you can recall where you were like, this, I love horror?
Well, I mean, when I was first watching horror, I wasn't thinking of making films or anything like that. I was just really enjoying it. And I will also credit my buddy Mark Kleinfelder, his dad, for getting me into the slasher world. So he would rent things, we'd watch them there. And then the one that I always remember is Army of Darkness. I didn't know there was an Evil Dead 1 or 2. I just knew Army of Darkness was just like, I love this movie. I love the comedy, the horror, the effects, everything about it. Later discovered the Evil Dead movies and went, oh man, Evil Dead 2, blood is funny. Blood is funny. And I took that into pretty much everything that I've ever made is, hey, if there's blood in there and someone gets stabbed, that's funny. Why not? These things that are supposed to be horrible. And then, of course, I did have also a formative experience watching Tremors on a family vacation, because my mom's like, it's fun. It's not that scary. Some of my cousins were very scared.
Bacon. Fred Ward. Tremors.
I knew that I could make people laugh, and that was a really good feeling, and it was something that I'm like, I'm pretty good at this. And so I started taking improv classes at Second City and things like that. And then I think iMovie, when iMovie became a thing, that's when I went, oh, you don't just film like in order and use the start stop as your like edit point. You can actually cut things together and add music and make chase scenes and do all this. So I made a feature with my friends called Mondo Monkey Episode 2, which was a story of Alf trying to kill a guy in a gorilla mask.
Is there an episode 1?
It was called Mondo Monkey A Go-Go, and basically that was a mini DV camera and my friends during a summer just walking around and putting on the gorilla mask and filming random things. And so the sequel was the more like, let's try and do a little bit more of a story, even though it was really ridiculous. And again, it was mostly chase scenes. And that's also where I learned a lot about, I would just replicate. I think in early filmmaking, it's great to do parody, like Terminator chase scene with the T-1000 in the parking garage. I replicated that shot for shot in a parking garage in Naperville, Illinois, with a guy in a gorilla mask.
Now, I'm assuming the person in the monkey mask was using the same tactic that Robert Patrick used, just didn't breathe at all while he was running.
Well, you couldn't in the mask. We sealed it airtight, taped it up. So we went through a few of my friends passed away during that, which is not true. But we did get the cops called on us. That was fun because we were firing just a compressor, like BB gun things, but it was still making a noise, and people saw a gun in the parking garage in Naperville, and so like, ooh, okay, we have to get permits, I guess that's a thing, or let people know, or don't fire
Another
guns.
valuable lesson in filmmaking.
There it is, yeah. Let people know. So my buddy Morgan Foster is in a band called Common Shiner, and we were originally going to do a music video for another one of his songs called Sharks. And that was going to be a recreation of Jaws. The entire movie in 4 minutes for Sharks. I storyboarded the whole thing, had it all set. We started scouting like a boat out in Michigan and all of these things. And things kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed till it was like October. And we're like, I don't want to go into Lake Michigan in October. I did that once to Mark Cusper, one of my actors, and almost killed him in Jason Voorhees' personal trainer. So we decided we need to do another music video, and I love teen movie, like John Hughes style teen movies, like not another teen movie that makes fun of all of those. And I was like, I want to do a teen movie, but none of us are teenagers. And then I realized that I had purchased a Freddy Krueger mask, and went, oh, what if we were all in masks and all slashers? So it was a slasher high. And from there, the ideas started flowing, and I don't even know what the impetus was of how I figured out that it would be Carrie and Jason or anything like that. I just started listening to the song and just meeting, like, here's how it would start here, and then we'd see the best friend, and who's the best friend character, who's the jock, who's the bully, who are these characters, and kind of put them together. And then we're like, who's a female slasher? And there aren't a lot, so I guess Carrie was good, so that we would be like, the misdirect is, oh, it's just there's some human girls at this school. Oh wait, no, blood dump. There we go, we got that.
Social media masochist part 2. I don't think you know what, it is what it is.
You got it.
So once moving on to the sequel, how did that idea come about? Was it a similar situation where you heard this song and you were like, I think we can do another one of these?
The impetus of that one was Morgan had, Common Shiner had broken up, and then Morgan had released a solo album under the name Foster. And I think we were talking and being like, oh, could we do another music video or anything like that? And I was listening, and there were like 2 songs in there that I was like, oh, these could be potential sequels. Oh, I listened to the lyrics, and the lyrics are more about kind of the love, regret, I think it fit really well with the high school sweethearts. They get married and be like, is this the right thing for me? Oh no, we're in this together. And I also at that point started dating my now wife, Megan Gorman, who helped me through all of that as well, who wasn't officially a producer, but was on set to do all these things and helped me keep my sanity. I just fell into like a clenched jaw, like my jaw was so sore. I was like grinding my teeth at night from stress of just organizing everything, because I didn't have a costume department. I did actually. I had Gina DeVivo, who was the Maniac Pixie Dream Girl, do a bunch of costumes and everything and things like that, but I still had all the props and all the stuff that needed to come to set, so I just had boxes of things that I needed to always keep track of and bring everywhere, and so much stuff.
But now moving on to Dead Meat. So you mentioned that you had met James at the Killer Clowns from Outer Space concert. After, that first interaction, when did James start being like, hey, I would really like to have you come on board?
He was never like that.
Oh, of course.
I had to pursue that, man.
Okay. Well,
I had to pursue. Before that meeting, I think my friend Brandon had turned me on to the Dead Meat channel, and I started watching Kill Counts. I'm like, oh, this is really a fun YouTube channel. So I cold emailed him saying, hey, I'm an editor. If you just need any help with any of the kill counts, I would love to be a part of this, because I love what you do. And heard nothing. Met him at that concert because he knew John Massari, the composer of Killer Clowns, who I'd become friends with. And that's how I got involved with the concert. And then, it was just nice to meet him. That was it. Then I happened to tune into one of his live streams where he was editing. And in it, someone had asked him, like, what do you hate the most? He's like, this right here, where I'm having to do coverage. Basically, I record my audio file, and then I have to find the clips in the movie that fit. And the timing works and all that stuff. He's like, I hate that. And then in the chat, I literally went, hey, I could do that for you. I mean, years of hard work and suggesting jokes, working on the Kill Count trailers, and then They Talk was kind of the first kind of thing that he was looking for new shows, and I pitched that one, and he really liked. I mean, James loves They Talk, and I also love They Talk, but I can't remember. Like, he was just getting, I believe, he was just getting burnt out, and he was going to take a break, just no matter what. And I think I offered to do the Tremors Kill Counts, and from there it worked out, and it was very scary because this is the first time anyone has not hosted, also the first time that anyone has not anyone other than him has written a Kill Count. It happened to be that during that time also he was dismantling the Kill Count set, as you see in the first few Tremors. Like, I'm on the set and then the set's gone, and I had to build my own set in my basement, and then he premiered the new set after he returned. So that was another thing that he wanted to do, is take time to create that. And that set is awesome, aside from being swelteringly hot, as I mentioned many times in end cards, because he doesn't have the AC on when you're recording, so you don't hear the vent, and so it's just lights in a carpeted room, and just like so just think that anyone who does a Kill Count, just know that they are very sweaty and very keeping that energy up is a big thing.
When do you foresee any possible return to the hosting duties in that very, very hot room?
It's all up to James and everything. I mean, I just honestly, something happened with the way that the channel was, because there wasn't regular content happening with everything that was going on personally, and then James was gone for a long time. Then it was suddenly me, and not everyone is a fan of me. That's okay. I get it. It's his channel. But he at this point, like the Critters Kill Counts, I now have the highest kill count number, but I also have the lowest viewed kill counts. Some of my favorite, actually James has stated, like Critters 4 and Critters Attack are some of the best scripts that I've written for the kill counts, and they're some of the lowest viewed kill counts. And so he just needs to come back, get the channel back up to, a regular setting, and then I could potentially come in at some point. Who knows? I'm just there to support, and it's his baby, and he's got tons of movies that he wants to cover himself too, so he loves doing it, and he's really excited to do it, and all of these terrible things keep happening that stop the channel from continuing on.
When it comes to horror movies, in particular, recommending horror movies, and whether that be to someone who's pretty well versed in the genre and they're just looking for something new, or someone who maybe isn't familiar with it, if you like this movie, then you're set.
Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Burnham. Okay. Most people have not heard of this movie or know anything of this movie. His mask is literally sitting next to me right now. And I've taken an acting class with Nathan, the actor in it, and he's just delightful and a great acting teacher as well. And then I will also recommend Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I think more people have seen, but also just a brilliant subversion of things. When it comes to like actual scary movies, I've watched so much that it's very hard for me to find anything scary anymore. So it's hard for me to recommend what's scary. I don't recommend ghost movies. I don't like ghost movies. They're not interesting to me. I will say that Conjuring was the last one that I was like, okay, that one worked. And Paranormal Activity, the original one, I liked 1 and 3 because it was a demon and not a ghost.